Broadcasting live from the frontier bivouac on the plain of Tarkir, this is Tap Tap Concede.
What the heck is a bivouac?
It's a three-color land.
It's like a tent.
Well,
It's a field shelter.
Yeah.
Oh.
Also, the frontier bivouac. There is only one.
Well, it's in a dragon skull.
It's true.
How many of
We
those are
made
laying
a
around?
bivouac out of this dragon skull.
I like to think you get in there and it's like, hello, welcome to Rin's Travel Agency. Final
it's a-
Fantasy X.
Hello.
I think it's a verb too, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
can't you go bivouacking or
To bivouac someone is to beat them about the
No.
head and chest.
No, it's
no.
With a
to
biv.
insert them into a tent. Anyway,
I'll biv
magic
you, mate.
cards.
welcome to Tap Tap Concede, everybody. Graham here with
Kathleen.
Cameron.
Alex.
we and
So after-
Paul on the production computer as
After
usual.
that introduction, is anyone still listening? or have the viewers all gone?
They gone.
They're probably gone.
Okay.
We're going to
Yeah.
talk about Cons of Tarkir, shockingly enough.
Yeah.
Some initial draft impressions, some discussion of a sealed league, and also
fun
Alex is
stuff.
going to tell us what from Cons has been making waves in the local Highlander scene, which is pretty cool. But first, we're going to crack a pack of cards. Kathleen, you want to roll the D20? The big one's in the other room, so
Ooh.
Oh,
do the little one. What do we got?
16.
16.
that sounds good. That
seems
sounds
like a good
meaty.
roll.
2, 4, hang on. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Whoa.
Conspiracy.
That's a conspiracy.
That's a
All right, come on, foil brainstorm. Come on, foil brainstorm.
One
still
time I
like-
want to open this damn Shards of Alara
We'll get it
foil
there. That's
premium.
the 20. That's the critical hit.
It'll
I know.
get there.
Hey, Silver Chase Fox.
Hey.
This guy just came back on Magic Online because of Innistrad.
Bleh.
He's handy. He's a 2/2 for 1 and a white. He's a fox.
White bears?
And you pay 1 and a white and sacrifice him, and you exile target enchantment.
There are some very relevant enchantments.
So that's slightly better
It's-
than something like, sorry, what's the Japanese set?
Kamigawa.
Kamigawa, yeah, there was
believe
one like that.
He's a functional reprint, I think, actually.
Not quite, because that one I think you just sacrificed it and it destroyed.
I thought there was
I don't think there's a cost to pay. I could be wrong. I don't
Anyway.
remember what it is.
It's true, because you never want to, like, main deck enchantment removal necessarily.
No.
But you can get in a situation where someone has, like, Death Reap Ritual in Conspiracy, and they're just going off.
Yep.
Yeah, so I feel that guy's actually pretty good.
Well, he's also a bear.
Yeah.
He's also bear.
I mean,
Fox bear.
he's a body.
Dream Fracture.
Crunch.
1 blue for an instant. Counter target spell. Its controller draws a card, and you draw a card.
So
this,
good.
This is like
Well,
a
not so good, but good.
this is a scaled up version of Arcane Denial.
I mean, it's just strictly better than cancel.
Is it?
Is it?
Because they're drawing a card
it's
too.
not. It's not strictly better.
not
It's
strictly
different.
better.
Really? I think it's better
different.
because you're replacing your card too.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
so
but
are
they're
they.
replacing theirs. So
Yeah,
it
but
can't
they're
be-
replacing a card that they want with a card they might not necessarily want.
It's
It could
still
be a better
replacing. I don't think you can say strictly
Yeah,
better.
it's definitely not strictly
No
better.
way.
Counterspell is strictly better than
than
cancel.
anything, basically. Yeah.
But Arcane Denial is 1 and a blue, counter target spell on the next upkeep. They draw 2 cards, you draw 1.
Oh, that sounds awful.
It's not the greatest, but its mana cost is really low, and it is a hard counter.
Yeah,
So
fair enough.
sometimes you take it on the chin just to make it stop.
Courier Hawk. He's a 1 and a white for a bird. He's a 1/2 bird with flying and vigilance.
He's fine.
He's fine. You can get a lot of them and make them tap for mana because it's conspiracy and it's crazy.
Right, or you can make them 2/3s, or
Yeah.
ask
Yeah.
for 1 white.
Chartooth Cougar. Relevantly, he has mountain cycling. He's also a 4/4 for 6, specifically 5 and a red. And he has fire breathing, which is you pay a red and he gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Often just used as mountain cycling in
Not
conspiracy.
not
decks.
relevant in this draft format, but like mountain cycling will get non-basic mountains. So you can use that to fetch.
Valakut?
Yeah,
No,
Valakut
Valakut's
doesn't have
not
the
a
mountain
mountain.
subtype.
Yeah.
But
Like the Ravnica.
original duels, Ravnica duels.
Mad Blind Mountain?
If you're an idiot,
Yeah, I'm just saying.
yeah, you could mountain cycle for Mad Blind Mountain.
All right.
Lay it down and watch as your opponent laughs himself sick.
Lizard Warrior. It's a 4/2 for 4 mana.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's barely fine.
Hey.
Now hold on, we have I
What?
guess we have a 4/2 for 3 mana in Cons of Tarkir.
Yeah, but doesn't it also have prowess and hexproof?
Yum.
No, we have it's the 4/2. It's the Alpine Grizzly,
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
which is also fine.
that
But
guy's better because ferocious is relevant.
yes,
Yeah,
So this thing seems pretty decent in multiplayer.
but this one,
Yeah.
yeah, Wake Dancer. It's a 2/2 for 2 and a black human shaman. When Wake Dancer enters the battlefield, there's a morbid trigger. So when it enters the battlefield, if a creature died this turn, you get a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield.
which is
It's like
pretty
3
easy
for
to do.
2 bears is pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. And your things are going to die. So,
That's just like post combat. You play that. It's like, haha, I have more guys now.
oh, this next card's totally gnarled. I'm sorry. It's the
Boo.
It's the Gnarled pack. It's a 2/2 for 2, so it's
BDM approved.
it's bears, but it also has multi-kicker. If you pay an additional 1 and a green every time you cast, or when you cast it, sorry, every time. For every time you pay an additional 1 and a green when you cast it, it gets a +1/+1 counter. So it's bears, or it's a 3/3 for 4, or a 4/4 for 6.
What's the creature type on that?
Beast.
Oh, I thought it was going to be something cute.
No.
Oh, well.
Altar's Reap. Again from Innistrad. 1 and a black instant, and it's an additional cost to cast it, sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards.
Oh, that seems fine. You know, if you're gonna chump with something.
It puts you onto Morbid, which
Yeah.
was like a sub-theme in this set. So it's
Or
like...
blank some removal. I've never had it work out for me, but I've seen it work for other people.
Well, it makes your chumps pretty good.
Yeah.
Just like chump and then rip 2 off this guy.
Nature's Claim.
So good.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe not in this format, but like any card that gets played 4 copies in Vintage.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So it's a single green instant. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, and its controller gains 4 life.
The reason it's good is because it's what's the one that is the same effect for 1 and a green?
Naturalize?
Naturalize. It's naturalize for 1 less.
And
So for-
you're
The life gain's irrelevant. You just blow up anything, like any enchantment or
playing this in the
artifact.
deck where you don't care about their life total,
You do not give a single poop.
You just care about disrupting their combo.
Yeah.
like Infect or.
Yeah, it's
Well,
quite good.
Like, you might have to storm out for a bit more.
That's true. Moment of Heroism, again from Innistrad. A lot of Innistrad reprints in Conspiracy, but then it was a pretty sweet draft format. 1 and a white instant. It's a combat trick. Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains lifelink until end of turn.
I like this as a combat trick. It's instant. It's relevant size +2/+2. Lifelink is very powerful. Even if you go up to a trade, you can still get a good benefit out of it, and it's only 2, which is easy to leave up.
I always found the art a little hard to read on this, but it's an Abyssinian, I'm assuming, priest guy with a huge glowing shield and a flail, just diving head first away from the camera,
YOLO.
the eye, into a horde of zombies.
Zomblebees.
Oh.
Zomblebees is the casual dining restaurant for the undead.
Everyone loves zombies. Bring the kids. Split Decision. I like Split Decision. So
All
one,
the voting cards are wild.
yeah. So 1 and a blue instant with Will of the Council. Choose target instant or sorcery spell. Starting with you, each player votes Denial or Duplication. If Denial gets more votes, counter the spell. If Duplication gets more votes or the vote is tied, copy the spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So in Conspiracy, you get to have fun stuff with it. In 1v1, you get to copy the spell.
Yeah, it's a copy effect for 1 and a blue, which is pretty good.
Yeah. Twin cast.
Yump.
Yep.
Deathforge Shaman.
This guy.
This guy's kind of interesting. He's a 4/3 Ogre Shaman for 4 and a red. So 4/3 for 5 is not amazing. But he has multi-kicker of a single red mana, which you can pay any number of times. When he enters the battlefield, it deals damage to target player equal to twice the number of times it was
Whoa.
kicked.
That's... Yeah, all right.
So you pay an extra
So-
2.
If you pay 6 mana, you get the 4/3 and you shock. If you pay 7 mana, you get the 4/3 and you char?
Yeah.
Is that 4 damage?
Or
Fire Blast.
some sort of thing that does damage.
Stoke the Flames.
Sure.
I mean, like 7 mana is a lot, but
Yeah.
I feel that it's something to do.
Well, what I like about like this
Yeah,
and Gnarled Pack and all the multi-kicker stuff is multiplayer games of Conspiracy. they're going to go long, and you're going to be like, I've got nothing going on.
Yeah,
I've
what
got
do you
12
register?
mana. What do I get?
Rip this guy and you
Ooh.
dome them.
Interesting.
Right out.
You probably
I get a
them
body
for
and a fireball.
Yeah.
yeah.
Body ball.
Flaring Flamekin.
There's a lot of red in this pack.
Yeah, I like this guy. He's a 2/2 elemental for 2 and a red, so he's a gray ogre. As long as Flaring Flamekin is enchanted, it gets +2/+2, has trample, and fire breathing.
Whoa. All right.
There's a lot of creature auras in the set. So
That's okay.
he's not amazing. I would pick it up if I already had an aura I wanted to run. Otherwise, he's just like a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's one of these do-nothing dudes.
all right, a rare.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, it's a mythic. It is the Coercive Portal.
This thing is really stupid.
It's really good. It's an artifact
Yeah.
for 4 mana. Will of the Council. At the beginning of your upkeep, starting with you, each player votes for Carnage or Homage. Or Homage. Homage. If Carnage gets more votes, sacrifice Coercive Portal and destroy all non-land permanents. If Homage gets more votes, or if the vote is tied, draw a card. So again, in 1v1, you draw an extra card every
This
turn.
went straight into like every Highlander control shell.
Yeah, another Howling Mine seems fine.
It's a one-sided Howling Mine.
Yeah.
And it like for 4 mana, draw a card a turn is dumb.
Can't be bad.
It's very, very powerful.
Our token is a 4/4 ogre. So that's
Double
fun.
bears.
And our conspiracy-related card is a conspiracy. It is, pardon me. The card is Iterative Analysis, which is a hidden agenda.
Sweet.
Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell with the chosen name, you may draw a card.
Yup.
I
So
like
if you
it.
say you have
I named
two,
Coercive Portal.
all right. Well, no, that's an artifact.
Yes, only instants or sorceries.
Oh.
But if you have like say 2 moment of heroisms, then it is +2/+2 and lifelink and draw a card,
Yep.
which is pretty good. Pretty good.
Thinking about the metagame of conspiracy itself, I don't actually think it's that relevant necessarily. I'm going to be taking the Coercive Portal. That's what I would take.
Yeah.
Me too.
Seems pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably just going to be like draw you a bunch of cards.
Exactly.
Also, it doesn't put you into a color.
yeah.
Speaking of not being put into a color, actually, that is a perfect segue into what I wanted to talk about this week.
What's that?
Talking about Khans of Tarkir draft.
Oh.
Where I don't want to say the format has been solved, but it has definitely
seems fast.
it has definitely been proven that the 5-color morph deck is absolutely a thing, and it's not even a bad thing. The deck where you just
Get greedy,
you just
everybody.
take all the best, like all the powerful morph cards, and then
All the fixing
all
that
the
you can
all the
take.
fixing, and you're just like, you always have a play on turn 3. You know, you got like 8 or 9 morph creatures. You've always got to play on turn 3, and then by the time you would want to flip it over anyway, then you typically have the colors you need to do so, and that deck is real good. Now, we did it on MTGO Academy this week as like a joke, and we didn't actually do amazingly well, but we did face an astonishingly good Black-White Warriors deck. It wasn't even a clan; it was just a Black-White Warriors deck.
That deck seems really hard to play around.
it's really good.
Because, I mean, it's like a big shell game.
Yeah.
Just like, this could be literally anything in the set.
Yeah, well, that's the best part is like if you have what we did on the MTGO Academy, we were running 18 lands, 3 non-creature spells, and then 19 morph creatures.
Whoa!
So that was obviously like an exaggeration for comedic effect, but our opponent could never ever have guessed what a given morph was, and we were just being like, turn 3 morph, turn 4 morph, turn 5 morph, turn 6 morph, and then we're like, all right, we got 5 morphs. What do you have? And it was pretty crazy. If you can pick up a Secret Plans, which is an enchantment for green and blue, colorless creatures. Is it colorless creatures or face down creatures? Face down creatures you control get +0/+1. Which is really good when makes your morphs eat their morphs.
Yeah.
And whenever you turn a face down card face up, you draw a card.
Did you get a secret plan?
We didn't. We saw one and thought it would wheel. I'm sorry.
Wrecked.
I'm sorry.
There are monsters in this world.
Yeah. So that card really, really good.
Did you run Trail of Mystery?
No. Trail of Mystery might be okay. We don't know yet.
Actually-
Ghost Fireblade, astonishingly good. We also didn't have one of those. But luckily, we didn't face the ultimate weakness of the all-in morphs deck, which is
Green-black.
Death Frenzy.
Yeah.
Ruh-roh.
Death Frenzy is disgusting. I have seen that card just handily, without even trying, 4-for-1 people. And not even the all-in morph deck, like just like Jeskai decks or Mardu decks when they have like guys with 1 or 2 toughness and just sort of like, oh, I'm going to 4-for-1 you and gain 4 life just as a matter of course.
Yeah.
Death Frenzy is really good. So, sorry, as a reminder, Death Frenzy is 3 green-black. All creatures get -2/-2. So your creatures as well, but all creatures get -2/-2. And then for every creature that dies this turn, you gain 1 life.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
So
really good.
on the Trail of Mystery tangent, I know that I had one in that was my pre-release rare, and I chose not to run it because I had like, I think 7 morph creatures.
You made the right choice.
In the most recent Limited Resources podcast, Marshall's like, so I've investigated Trail of Mystery, and he says it's not good either. So I knew it.
Sad. I wanted that card to work.
I think it might be really good in like that all-in morph deck, though. Do you have like a Secret Plans and a Trail of Mystery?
Yeah, I could see that. I
Yeah.
could see that working. But
Well, it means you can get away with less fixing, I
it's
guess.
true, because the problem is that the problem with Trail of Mystery is that it only looks for basics,
Right.
And you want like a bunch of the refuge lands, or if you
Yeah.
can get them, the tri lands in the crazy morph deck. But let me tell you, just like being like, oh look, a Snowhorn Rider and a Free Weapon Master, an Abomination of Gadul, and Abzan Guide, just throw all these in the same deck. You know, a Ponyback Brigade. Just chuck them all in the same deck and flip them over, and you're like, wow, this is really quite strong.
And then if you get a wacky like 3-color bomb, you're like, you know what? Sure, I'm in these colors.
Yeah,
just take it.
The first 64-person draft on Magic Online, actually, Kenji Numot, the Nummy streamer on Twitch, won with a 5-color morph deck.
I feel that's a hard deck to play, though. When do you morph? When do you not morph? Like, which ones do you morph? Like, it seems like it requires.
Well, I think your
careful
options are
attention.
limited. I mean, yes, I'm not. It certainly doesn't autopilot, but I think your options are limited a lot of the time. It's like I can only morph. You know, I only have the mana to morph these 2 things because of the color restrictions. But so yeah, I haven't had a lot of experience drafting. I realized I've actually only drafted cons twice, and once was on stream the other night, and we got very lucky. We had a crazy Mardu deck, which it should have been 3-0. I know that's such a typical thing to say, but we went 2-1 because we faced a very, very strong deck in the second round. But we had all 3 Mardu rares. We had Butcher of the Horde, Ankle Shanker, and Crackling Doom, all of which are very good cards,
Crackling Doom is really good.
which we did not see nearly enough.
I sat in on that draft with Graham, and things to
Wham.
remember: Crackling Doom is a fucking blowout because it gets their best creature.
Well, at least the creature with the highest power, which is
And
typically
usually
their best creature.
Or usually the creature you're going to have the hardest time dealing with,
Yeah.
right?
And it's a sacrifice effect, so it will kill Sagu Mauler. If we had drawn it when we needed to kill Sagu Mauler, that would have been relevant.
I feel like there's not much you can do to play around Sagu Mauler, though.
That card is a literal beast. I did not, until James and I did the MTGO Academy All-In Morphin Time draft, I didn't know Sagu... we called it Morphin Time. I didn't know Sagu Mauler
Mighty
existed. Do you guys know what that one
Morphin
is?
No, what is that?
No.
So it's it casts for 4 green-blue.
Okay.
So it's only 2 colors. It's actually better than a lot of cards in the set. It morphs for 3 green-blue, so it casts for 6 or morphs for 5. It's a 6/6 with trample and hexproof. Yeah.
And
It's just a 6/6 with trample and hexproof, but you're like, oh, I can't fight that. I can't do anything about
Nothing
that.
kills this.
No,
Yeah.
it's like,
It's like, okay, I go to quintuple block.
yeah, like if you try to put 2 things in front of the morph to trade with it, it flips up and eats both your guys.
Crunch.
And then you can't respond to the morph, so you can't kill it because it has hexproof. And then you've already lost your guys, so you can't then like quad block it on the next turn.
It's a bad
And you're
time.
just like, oh, I'm super dead now.
Yeah, your options are basically throw your team in front of it or be screwed, right?
Same with flipping Ankle Shanker.
So-
Hate that guy.
Ankle Shanker and the one I hate is Knuckle Blade.
Oh, big Nux.
Savage Knuckle
He's
Blade?
very
What's
savage.
Nux?
So Savage Knuckleblade casts simply for 3 mana for the full teamer. It's a red, blue, green. He's a 4/4, and he's got 3 different activated abilities.
Oh
Come
my-
with me on this journey, Alex.
All right.
For a single red, you can give him haste.
Yeah, okay.
That's fine.
That's good.
I mean, it only comes up on the 1 turn, but whatever.
No, it doesn't. That's a lie, and you know it.
Well, if you bounce it, yeah, I guess that's pretty
Okay,
relevant.
But getting to the next...
For 2 and a green, you can give him +2/+2 until end of turn.
You can do it
yeah.
once.
You can only do that. You can only do that once per turn, but still.
That's
Make
still
him a
plus
6/6, that's good.
Yeah, all right.
And for 2 and a blue, you can return it to your hand.
What the... what?
So the
comes
haste
down
thing
turn
is
3,
relevant.
and it sits there, daring you to use removal on it.
It's just like, haha, nope.
Yep. And then maybe sometimes you do get removal, and they bounce to their hand and play it again
With haste.
with haste.
And then pump it.
I've been soloed by this guy in several games.
That's... Wow. All
If
singing,
you resolve
all dancing.
it, you just keep all your mana up to
Yeah.
protect it.
Yeah, and then you just keep like drawing a card every turn, and it's not going to be good as another Knuckle Blade, but it means you've got options.
Spike is licking his chops.
Yeah.
Oh.
This apparently this guy comes down reliably on turn 2 in constructed.
Turn 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just go
right.
mana dork, land, play this guy, go, untap,
boy.
you're dead.
Because you could... well, the shock lands are out,
Yeah.
but,
But
you
you
could...
You can play. You do the Painlands
Lean in. Yeah. Oh, right. Okay.
because those are in these colors, right? You play.
you play like a blue-green pain land,
Yeah, and then a
green out a Elvish Mystic,
Yeah.
and then,
then-
play like a mountain, and then you've
Yeah.
got blue-green-red.
Yeah. and
Oh.
That's not hard to do. I mean, it's living the dream, but it's not an unrealistic dream.
Oh, big Nux. You're so scary.
The
Yeah.
Nux.
Anyhow, that card's great. and I
Yeah,
love
we'll know more about how the post-con standard metagame shakes out after this weekend, because of course we're recording on the Friday of Pro Tour Honolulu weekend. So
So
I'm
standard.
we haven't really seen how it's happened yet.
I'm
but-
going to predict that Big Nux is going to be a thing.
I think Nux is going to show up once or twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think Ankle Shanker's a bigger groan test. Just like because when your opponent they have a board, you have a board, and you're like, okay, this is a game that we're playing a reasonable game of Magic, and then they play Ankle Shanker and turn all their guys sideways, and you're like, so either I lose all my guys or I take 14.
Wow.
Because he's a 2/2 with haste for 5 mana, and that's not very good. But whenever he attacks, all other attacking creatures get First Strike and Death Touch.
Sorry, what?
Yeah!
Mardu!
So it means that anything you block any of their creatures with will die.
I like to think of him as just like making this...
You have to put...
Turn him sideways.
And just like taps you on the shoulders like, hey, your blocks are garbage.
I thought I had a good a reasonable multi-blocking scenario where I was like 3-for-1ing myself against an Ankle Shanker in draft the other day. And then my opponent played a Raider's Spoils, which gives all their creatures +1/+0. So the first 3 creatures that I put in front of Ankle Shanker would die.
Wow.
Because you only need to assign lethal damage, and with Death Touch and First Strike, you can just go 1 to that creature, 1 to that creature, 1 to that creature. 3 creatures die in First Strike, and only then do the creatures that I've put in front of this friggin' monster get to actually kill it.
Now I kind of want to make Mardu goblins as a Highlander deck.
You should.
Yeah, I could get like goblin trenches.
Oh, man, yes.
Aw, yeah.
Get them trenches going. So, yeah. Anyway, the point, though, is, these are cards that have annoyed me and everything, but I'm here to tell you that from my brief experience, Khan's draft is a blast. It is so much fun. There is so much going on. I have ruined people's dreams. I've gotten my dreams ruined.
Dreams being shattered left and right.
Just a dream grinder.
I've just played very good games of Magic. It's just been super fun. If you have a chance to, please do draft it. It's really, really, really good.
So
Dreams
Back
fractured.
to dream fracture.
So
Nice.
pro tip though, if you're doing Khan's draft, Singing Bell Strike is a card and it
Yeah,
is
it's a good
annoying
one.
and it is.
Yeah.
But remember that you can untap your guy.
Yeah, don't forget that you can, because often your opponent who has put Singing Bell Strike on your creature will forget. And they'll be like, all right, I'll keep doing the same attack I've been doing for the last several turns. And you're like, but this time I'm going to untap my guy and eat one of your dudes. And they'll be like, oh, no.
And then I'll swing next turn.
Yeah. So don't forget that.
Yeah.
Speaking of limited, however, Cam, you and James,
Yes.
among others, obviously, have been doing a sealed league
Yes,
at
we have.
Yellow Jacket.
What's a sealed league?
What is a sealed league?
Well, James.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, what's your name?
It's okay.
Well,
Go
Graham,
for it.
My name is James.
I can be James if you need me to
Growlix.
What you do in a sealed league is you open a sealed pool. In this case, for Khans of Tarkir sealed league, we opened 6 packs of Khans of Tarkir. And you build a deck, a 40-card deck, and then you play with it. And at the store, we play 4 games a week, or, league matches.
And you just sort of be like, hey, who wants to play a league game
Yeah.
with the other store
Whoever else
regulars?
is in this
or-
league,
Yeah.
fight
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, exactly. So you 1v1 all your buddies. We can take our decks home because our pools are verified.
Oh, nice.
And, like James and I have played here. I've played with our friend Blake, who you may recognize from Friday nights.
He was the pizza guy.
He was the
Yeah,
pizza guy
he
in
was
the,
the
in the
pizza
Magic
guy.
Online episode.
One time pizza guy.
I played Blake at the pub the other night, and that was really fun.
Before trivia?
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
and
really
actually,
nice because the problem that I saw or foresaw with league matches is you would have to go down to Yellow Jacket to play.
Yeah, no, I mean they verify your pools, they watch what you open, right?
And so they verify the boosters you add too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because that's
I mean it's a lot of work on their end, but it's a really nice experience.
that's so good because they didn't used to do that. So then, is it every week you add another booster?
Yes, and every week you can add a booster of. I think with this they've experimented around with a lot of different things. Sometimes it's whatever's in block, whatever's in standard. I think right now it's just whatever they have in the store.
Wow, that could be
man.
anything.
Exodus.
Yeah, I think they might have gotten in some Innistrad packs. Maybe I'll add an Innistrad pack, but usually
So
I just
it's
add
like-
the newest set because those are the cards I haven't had a chance to play with yet,
And
I
they
kind of want to get them and play with them.
they tend to synergize.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Although it'd be pretty crazy doing a Mardu deck and then suddenly you're like, and Bloodline Keeper. And they're
Wah,
like,
wah.
excuse me?
yeah,
So it's basically like a sealed, that becomes a chaos draft eventually.
yeah, kind of.
A little bit.
But I've surprised myself because I'm playing a really powerful Abzan deck because my opening pool had the Rhino for 4 that drains for 3 when it comes into play. The 4/5.
Siege Rhino's
Oh, that
really
guy's
good.
so
Yeah.
big.
And
He's making a splash in standard already.
Yeah.
Lack of rock. Lack of rock.
Then I opened a couple of Abzan guides and an Utter End.
Oh, Utter End is really good too.
What else? Other really good standard cards like the 2/2 Bear with Death Touch with a Ferocious Trigger.
Oh, the Heir of the Wild.
Heir of the
Heir of the
Wild.
That
Wilds.
card is
That guy's a
great.
house.
Really good blocker in limited, certainly.
Yeah.
He's just all around utility.
I mean, really good attacker
honestly.
too, because he's hard to block, because he's
Yeah.
a 2/2, possibly a 3/3 with Death
And,
Touch.
yeah, he's not irrelevant. Then I also have a bunch of. I'm playing a couple of the Outlast creatures like the Bonkin and the 3/3s that give things with +1/+1 counters on them, give them reach.
Long Shot Squad.
Longshot Squad.
Yes.
And I'm not really playing the Outlast abilities on them or outlasting with them so much as I'm just putting counters on them with other things.
That's a really good way to do it.
That's fine.
Exactly.
You running feet
Also-
of resistance, I assume.
Yes, Feet of Resistance.
That card's good.
The white instant for 1 and a white that gives it a +1/+1 counter and
And protection. What is that card called?
That's Feet of Resistance.
Feet of Resistance. Sorry,
Yeah.
and then the one that I thought you were talking about was 3 and 2 green that gives 6
Oh.
+1 counters to
Incremental growth.
Yeah, incremental.
That's a
growth.
reprint from Lorwyn Block, I think. Or
Yeah.
because there was incremental growth and incremental blight.
Yeah,
Which
and they
was,
both had the opposite effect.
Yeah, but incremental growth is absolutely insane. Yeah, it's 5 mana. You get to put 1 +1/+1 counter on one creature, 2 +1/+1 counters on a second creature, and 3 counters on a third creature. It's a absolute blowout.
That's like
So,
plus
yeah.
6 power. Is it an instant?
it's a sorcery.
But if you can go 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, and then on turn 5,
5-drop.
make all your guys huge and slam, your opponent's like, I
Well,
have
and the
lost
thing-
this game.
And the thing is, even
Especially
if you make... sorry, go ahead, Cam.
Especially if you've got a Bonkin out.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Then they all have first strike now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so what do you do
Wah, wah.
against the Heir of the Wild that's now a 5/5? Or, sorry, swinging is a 6/6 with first strike and death touch.
Scoop
it up.
Scoop, I think.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is the nice thing about creatures, the absent creatures, is if you get, I mean, this is kind of going into magical Christmas land, but all your creatures could have trample and death touch and first strike.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
And reach and
Yeah. So like
flying.
I've got this
Life
really
link.
good grindy deck. My removal suite is a little weak, he said, after having said that he has Utter End. But I've got like Absent Ascendancy, which means that removal it's still really good.
That's
because
the other
I put a lot of resources into my creatures. But hey, if you're removing them, I still get a flyer.
And that's the other good way to get counters on your creatures. Like that's also a good like turn 5
Oh yeah.
like turn 5, turn 6 play when you've got a bunch of creatures out and then suddenly they get counters.
Yeah.
Because the thing about incremental growth and Absent Ascendancy is that you have all these sort of the counter lords, basically the ones that grant these abilities based on whether or not a creature has a counter. It doesn't matter if that creature has the counter or not. That is a static ability. And your opponent is looking and you haven't been using the Outlast, you can't afford to, maybe you're in this position where, it's just suddenly all these creatures gain a bunch of abilities and a bunch of power and toughness, and your opponent could not have been prepared for it. And it's really frightening.
Oh yeah.
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Merak Nightblade,
Yes.
he's an orc,
Yeah, he's a 2/3 for...
but is he a goblin, or sorry, a warrior orc?
No, thank goodness. He's an orc assassin.
Right, and then if every creature with a +1/+1 counter on them has death touch.
Yeah.
And then with your Bondkin, every creature with a +1/+1 counter has first strike.
Correct.
Yep.
But he's not part of the warrior deck.
No, neither of them are warriors, actually. I actually don't think any of the token lords are warriors. No, that's not true. The Tusk Collar Captain is a 2/3 warrior. That's the one that grants Trample. It's a 2/3
Trample
for
being
3.
one of the less exciting ones.
And that may be the only warrior I can't remember. But the warrior sub-theme is not to be ignored either.
Yeah. But I've got this really great deck that plays like all these crushing 4-drops, 5-drops. I've got a couple of the big Lillifants that are like 6/7 morph creatures.
I love those guys. The Willy Loxodons are great.
Yeah,
They're really hard to deal with.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, because they just eat things eventually.
Nom, 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 nom.
And then I've got this other I've got a transformative sideboard in the same colors where I take out the high end if I'm playing against somebody with like a lot of removal or with a lot of controlling elements, and I just go into a couple of Mardu skull.
The Skull Hunters. I like those guys.
The I have all these actually really good raid cards without many of the bombs, but I mean, I can swing in fairly aggressively as well, and then
I like that guy.
yeah, I've also got 2 of the Mardu guys that when they raid, they return a 2-drop to the battlefield.
Oh, Timely Horde Mate's very strong.
I mean, it sounds really powerful, but it doesn't have the big effects that my main deck has.
Right.
But it can surprise people quite effectively because
So
you
you're
just
not-
start raining hand hate on people, and then I've got I opened the Mind Rot effect that also mills you for 2.
Oh, yeah.
Rakshasa's.
Rakshasa's Secrets.
Yeah.
So
Oh, and
you
I've
get
opened-
to... Have you managed to do the thing where you attack and they take it or whatever, and then you Timely Horde Mate, triggering raid, bringing back Mardu Skull Hunter, triggering raid?
Oh, honey.
So they discard as well?
Oh, it feels good.
It feels really good,
you
yeah.
take 2 cards out of their hand, and then you Mind Rot them next turn.
But
Right.
Love it.
That's good.
But yeah, I've opened 1 pack so far, which was another pack of Khans of Tarkir, and I really recommend that in a sealed league you open good cards because I got a Necropolis Fiend.
Okay, that's
Nicely
really good
done.
too, yeah.
So that's your secret advice for
Yeah,
Sealed League is
like-
open good cards?
Yeah, I think it's a really powerful strategy in Limited is to just open really good cards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if this isn't something that your local game store does, ask them. See if they will, because it's super fun. And maybe they aren't willing to do the
pool verification.
like verifying the pools or whatever, and you'll have to do what we used to do here, which is leave your deck at the store so that you know that you can't
Tamper with it.
you can't put in
It's
cards
like,
you're not going
where
to get.
did you get these 4 black lotuses?
I don't know what you're talking about. But it's super fun.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's a sort of a low cost solution because you're out the initial deck and then you're out you're buying a booster a week, which is
Yeah, and you're playing a bunch of games, and
And you don't have to play them at any specific time, which is nice.
Yeah.
And there's some sort of there's some kind of prize support for it. Like it's not big. I'm not entirely sure.
Depending on how big the pool is, or the pool of players, and how many games you complete, like you can get a fairly impressive prize pool out at the end. But I mean, I haven't played Magic in a bar for a really long time, but the experience has changed actually, because the guy running the pub quiz, who was also like a local radio DJ and is in a bunch of bands, and he was like, "Are you guys playing Magic?" Like, hold up, I'll bring my decks next week.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, Dan Ball was
That's
totally
cool.
into it.
That's
and,
awesome.
I dig it.
So,
Yeah, it was less embarrassing than I thought it would be.
All right.
So this
That's
hobby,
good.
dude, you
this
were
hobby
at
is-
a trivia night.
Yeah.
There's a certain element
Well, yeah,
that's
it's
going to
already
come
hyper
out.
nerdy, but like the hobby has a broader appeal than you might originally think.
Also, if you don't have a local game store close by, the ease of putting together a sealed deck league, like if you have a bunch of people you're going to school with and
Got some
Yeah.
packs.
all in like the same dorm, or maybe you're all in like, I don't know, you're like your student newspaper office or something like that. This is
Yeah.
an easy thing to set up with low cost. So
Yeah,
There you go.
24 packs for 4 people.
yeah, that's the TTC recommendation of things that you can do.
Speaking of broad appeal,
Oh, Raid.
some of these cards.
Raid been so good to
Some of
me.
these cards are good in limited. We'll see how they are in standard. How are they faring in Highlander, everyone's
There's a
favorite
couple-
Wait.
local 100-card singleton
Yep.
format?
There's
Before
a-
you go back, before you give us a report, can you give us like a 15-second summary of what Highlander is?
I was literally doing that.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, Highlander is a local format. It's us in Australia, I think,
And Germany.
and Germany.
There's a small population in Germany.
We play this format. It's very faintly like Commander, only not.
I think it probably has more in common with Vintage.
It probably is more common with
Probably
vintage,
it's like
yeah.
it's 100-card singleton decks. There's no color restrictions. There's no commander. It's 20 life. It's 1v1, and there's a points list for all the really crazy powerful cards.
So you can run it. You can run a Black Lotus.
You can run a
Yeah.
Black Lotus, and then no other cards that are crazy.
Yeah, and I think some combinations are explicitly banned.
There's
like
a
Flash Hulk.
I
Is
don't know if that's banned
banned?
right now, but it
Oh.
has been historically. So there's a few cards that are just right out. And then you just assemble a list. It's like Strip Mine is pointed, and Mind Twist was pointed.
And we've had
Demonic Tutor, stuff like that.
And we've had Alex and our friend Serge on the show before to talk through some of their decks and the crazy stuff that happens. But what
So,
from
anyway-
cons has been making a splash?
Well,
Highlander.
in my mono black deck, Blood Soaked Champion,
Oh yeah,
he is the best one-drop piker ever printed, I think.
no kidding.
Like, it's crazy how good he is.
So he's a 2/1 for a single black mana. He can't block, but who cares? And if you have
Wait,
triggered,
I think he might be able to block. Can he,
No.
can he
No,
not
he can't
block?
block.
No, he can't block.
Whatever.
and
Irrelevant.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, he has a raid trigger that if you've attacked this turn, you can pay 1 in a black to return him from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Not even tapped.
Yeah,
Just back to life.
it doesn't. He can't block, so it doesn't matter if he's tapped or not. But yeah, so he never goes away.
Yeah, and he can raid himself. If you
Yeah.
attack with him and they chump, you're like, oh, he's back. I don't even need a second attacker to fire this guy. He's bonkers. Because my deck is like every single, playable 1-drop 2-power creature. Other stuff I've seen, I got blown out by Master of Pearls the other night.
Oh, Master of Pearls is very strong.
Because he plays this morph and was like, I have no idea what that is. And he's like, oh, you just pumped your batter skull.
in Highlander, it could be
Anything.
it could be any morph.
Yeah.
From when morph was around the first time.
My experience playing Highlander is the only morph card that I've seen a lot is the one that counters a spell when it's flipped up.
Willbender. No, I got
it's
this. I got
worse.
this wrong before.
It's always Willbender.
Oh, is it Willbender?
It's always
Okay.
It's always
it is
Willbender.
always Willbender.
All right. So
It's
this
not,
guy was
but it's
Master
all-
of Pearls, which is 3 white. All your creatures get +2/+2 until end of turn.
Yeah, and he was attacking me with a batter skull as well. It was bad. It felt.
Did he
felt
put
bad.
Batterskull on the Master of
No,
Pearls?
he
Oh,
didn't
okay.
need to. The Master of Pearls had like a bone splitter or some other garbage.
Oh my god.
He's just like, my bones. It hurts.
Brutal.
Whoa, Will Bender flips up for 1 and a blue?
Yep.
Whoa, that
I mean,
card's good.
He's an older morph.
I'm
Very
trying to
strong.
think what else has shown up from cons.
Oh, sorry. Redirects doesn't counter.
Yeah.
The
Are
Willbender.
people taking cruises?
Cruises?
Oh, Treasure Cruise is showing up a lot. Yeah.
Is it?
Oh yeah, people are going on a cruise. Serge was telling me that people are going on a cruise.
Dig Through Time seems very, very real.
Dig Through Time also very strong. This
Well,
is
I mean, any
4
format-
blue
Yeah.
with Delve. So 6 mana, but with Delve. It is 4 blue.
So blue,
Sorry,
blue.
6 blue.
So still blue.
So yeah, so it's 8 mana with Delve, so 2 mana, as Cam's saying. And you look at the top. I'm doing this from memory, so correct me if I'm wrong. You look at the top 7 cards of your library, and you choose 2, and they go into your hand, and the rest go back in the library and shuffle. Bottom of the library in any order. Yeah.
So it's super impulse is what it is.
You get to look at the top 7 and take 2 cards for
Basically,
what could be 2 mana.
like, this seems nutso in the is it counterburn deck, which you play a lot of snaps or fetches. Fetch lands.
That's a weird local colloquialism.
Yeah, and you've got your lightning bolts and counter spells and other cantrips, and then you just cast this, and you're like, what 2 cards do I want from these 7 on top? I'll pick anything.
From the 7 cards on that remain of my 100 card library, which is now down to 15 cards.
So you go through it. So
This format is bonkers.
So I mean, like, there's always a little handful of cards that people try out. A few of them stay. I mean, I mentioned Coercive Portal from Conspiracy was like one of those things where it's like every time a new set comes out, like the whole Highlander community like gets on like
Descends on it like a
yeah, they're
pack
just
of
like,
buzzards.
okay, is this gonna work? Is this card real? Is this card not real? And we try it out, and a couple of them stick around.
Can you talk about any cards that you tried out that were a little underwhelming to you
From
cons?
It's still too early to say. The cons cards that I'm testing out are our Bloodsoaked Champion, the Skull Hunter guy.
Yeah, Mardu Skull Hunter.
He seems pretty good.
Yeah.
Because like my deck is geared towards like resource denial.
And the
so
whole point is that you typically have a 1-drop play.
I will almost always have a 1.
So you're almost assuredly attacking on turn 2,
Yeah.
meaning you can get the Mardu Skull Hunter down on turn 2.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, because like your whole thing is just like attack with cheap creatures and then also attack their hand.
Yeah, you attack. My deck wins by attacking with cheap creatures, and then like attacking their resources with an early threat up.
And the resources being their land or their hand.
And hand.
Right.
Yeah.
Land in hand.
Land in hand. You
We
just,
should
like,
The old LNH.
play a turn 1 Piker, play a turn 2 like 3x, and then just start like ripping their hand and land base apart.
Yeah, and then you just wasteland them.
Yeah.
We should have Surge back on sometime soon because
Oh, yeah.
after weeks of going 3-1 at Highlander, he finally went 4-0 yesterday.
Yeah, you went 4-0 with Hedron Crab,
a
right?
deck with Hedron Crab in it.
Sweet.
The
I don't know. We
sweetest.
don't know if Hedron Crab specifically was key
Doesn't
to
matter.
the
It was,
victory.
dude. It's got to be the clutch
I love
card.
Hedron Crab. He's like, what is in this thing?
Yeah.
What is?
No,
what
I
is this?
love the idea that with Hedron Crab, the reason it's milling you is because you are watching this crab trying to solve a Hedron like a Rubik's Cube, and it's frustrating you so much because it's doing it wrong,
Yep.
and you're getting so angry that your mind is actually coming
Yeah.
apart.
Surge has
No,
4.
turn it topwise.
He has 4 painted Hedron crabs.
What?
Like he has a he used to have a
like
modern
altars?
deck.
Oh,
yeah.
wow, right.
I think they're different like tide
Yeah, they're different tide points.
yeah, different tide points. So he has 4 of them because he played this deck where it was mill, and he would do stuff like play Path to Exile and then Archive Trap you when you went to look for the land.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really dirty. And hilarious.
So here's the thing. While we're talking about Hedron Crab, obviously it's a crab with a Hedron, there is a non-insignificant amount of internet chatter about cons, Zendikar, they're linked. Brr.
Are they?
Well, there's a non-insignificant amount of internet chatter, which sometimes means nothing, sometimes means nothing, and sometimes it means something. But somebody pointed out something on Reddit today that I wanted to point out to you, our viewers, and our listeners, if you're not viewing this. But Paul, can you bring up the art for Suspension Field, or can you bring up the card Suspension Field?
Suspension.
Well, there's
field.
already, before you get to this, there's already some connections because, of course, Zendikar is where the Eye of Ugin was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because Ugin,
The
it was
Ur-Dragon.
Sorin and Ugin and unnamed third planeswalker were the ones originally responsible for containing the Eldrazi.
Mm-hmm.
So just
Put them in a box,
Yes.
and then some idiot let them out.
Oh yeah, but like there's obviously that, but people are saying that the sets are perhaps more linked than the. But anyhow, so if you look at the art for Suspension Field, a lot of people are saying that looks an awful lot like a bunch of tiny Hedrons.
Or they could be gemstones.
The little motes of light?
Yeah, they're little hedron-shaped motes of light.
Maybe.
So anyhow, that's
I don't know.
That's my rumor.
That seems kind of like...
No, you heard it here first, folks.
Not Reddit. We stole that.
You heard it here first. Enemy-colored fetches are being reprinted in the next set. Sell yours immediately. Get rid of them. They're going to be down to like $20 a piece. Send them all to me.
Which?
The weapon there.
Oh.
The sort of pole arm with the...
Yeah, his weird axe thing.
What is it?
blade on the end of it.
Maybe?
It looks a lot like a Johnny's...
I don't know. I feel like people have gotten onto this like Tarkir is Zendikar kind of like hype train, and then stuff like the things in Suspension Field or the Hedrons is sort of like the cork board of different Polaroids connected by red string.
Or MS Paint arrows.
Yeah, exactly.
I realize this is a conspiracy, but it's fun to speculate because it's silly, and all we know is that the blocks are linked because of the similarities, and that there's something different happening in the second set of this block.
Fetches being reprinted. Enemy-colored fetches being reprinted in Fate Reforged.
Yeah.
So send all of your old, busted, janky ones to Cameron Louder, care of Tap Tap Concede.
Actually, you know what? Like, I could actually see if they reprint the fetches. I know what the flavor text is going to be on them.
What?
Right? It's going to be like where dragons once rotted, their bodies now soar. Right? It's going to be the inverse of
the opposite of that. I can see that.
The Return of Dragons.
Yeah. But like the ones where it's like...
Although we know that Fate Reforged and Louis, the third expansion, don't involve wedge colors. So...
Can I just say it would be really rad if Landfall came back in like a block that had fetches?
Well, I mean, that's where it was printed originally. Yeah.
That'd be really cool. All right, everybody. That's going to be it for various topics relating to Khans of Tarkir for this week. As always, if you have questions, let us know in the comments or on Twitter at LoadingReadyRun.com. You can follow each of us on Twitter. I don't think we mentioned that before. Kathleen is Kathleen_LRR. I'm Graham_LRR. Cam is Unarmed Oracle. And Alex is Alex Stacy, Steacy.
Yep. Have fun spelling that.
Yeah.
Sorry, for some reason, this is just something that I found out, I learned about recently, and I thought, so our good friend, the Meandering Tower Shell.
Turtle.
Turtle. What a great name.
Funny story.
Yeah.
In this set, there are two command effects. Like two,
yes. There's
effects.
Active Treason and the Jeering Instigator.
Yeah, there's the guy that flips.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you Active Treason
I love this.
Tower Shell and send him towards the guy who he came from.
Yeah, he comes back.
When he comes back onto your side, and you
What?
keep him forever.
and you just keep him.
Yeah, well, I mean...
He has a bad memory.
He's easily confused.
Yeah. Well, that's...
He's like, I came from that way, so I must be going back that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you used to be able to do the same effect with, like, or whatever the one that was printed in Avacyn Restored and Cloud Shift.
Oh, yeah, because it was under its controller's control?
No,
or
it
was
was
just... And return it to the battlefield.
Yeah, exile this creature, return to the battlefield under your control.
Under your control, rather than its owner's control.
Yeah.
Huh.
Devious.
But it has to target a creature you control.
Yeah, but then it's a different card. It's a different sort of object, and so it no longer has the return to its owner's.
So you actually just own that card.
Yeah. So
that's how it works.
Yeah, you get to take it home with you.
I asked the judge at the event, and he said that I was allowed to sell it for food.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Because it was made up. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to Tap Tap Concede.
Adios.
We will talk to you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Toodles.